And we're live from the living room as Doug eyes up the matchday spread. He's reaching for the buffalo wing. Perfect! Hang on, what's this? Oh, he's gone for a can of Pepsi too! Incredible! What a finish! Sensational combination! Look at the delight on his face. There's no doubt about it. It just tastes better. Match days deserve Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. Grab a pack of Pepsi Zero Sugar for today's match. It's poetry in motion.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Olive Garden is in trouble.
Olive Garden.
That was the one
They
division.
need to advertise on WABC if they want to
Save themselves.
Exactly.
And get their pro-Italian. But Italian Americans, especially in this city and in New Jersey, if I say Olive Garden, I don't go there, but they get so angry. They get so angry.
My opinion, it's brand X Italian food.
It's like a McDonald's of Italian.
No,
Not
McDonald's is good compared to
Yeah.
I was in Augusta, Maine, and my wife asked the concierge at the hotel, said, we need a good Italian restaurant. Do you have a recommendation? She says, oh, you're lucky, the best one in the whole state. Olive Garden.
Well, at least she didn't say we have macaroni and cheese. How about that? But all kidding aside, we are joined now by another great Italian American, Vito Fossella, the borough president of Staten Island. And borough president Fossella, we have to ask you, with these crazy elections here in the Manhattan part of New York City, is Staten Island prepared to be once again the citadel for common sense, decent? And instead of running to Florida or Texas, should they run to Staten Island?
I thought you were going to ask me if I'm going to go to Olive Garden instead. Oh, my goodness. No,
John is picking up the check, Rita.
Yeah. As John and the judge know, we have Italian restaurants in Staten Island, and one's better than the other. So Olive Garden can't do too well here. I think, listen, we got to just take a step back and really digest what happened just a couple of days ago, and it's for real. And I think what happened is, frankly, the other party allowed this to happen, and they allowed the fox in the hen house, and they got walloped. And it's not a good sign for the country in the short term. Over the long term, as we all have come to appreciate, socialism meets reality, which wherever it took hold, it was crushed. It destroyed people. It destroyed freedoms. It destroyed faith-based people. Everywhere it's been sort of allowed to creep in, it's destroyed the countries that it took over, and it takes time to root it out. But in the short term, it's rather destructive. And the establishment politicians on the other side allowed it, and they got their head handed to them, and I don't think it's going to slow down. So in the short term, it's bad for the United States of America that socialism is allowed at the table, because when you start to look at what they want, it is corrosive and it hurts people, property owners. It's all about class warfare. They want to destroy the capitalist system that we enjoy and has made this country the best in the history of the world. So we just got to stand up, and every once in a while you got to say no. Like just recently, we had a situation on Staten Island, a graduation for middle school kids, 12, 13 years old, and somebody wanted to disrupt the ceremony by, in the middle of it, just displaying a flag to send a political statement. And we said, no, you just can't do that, because a graduation, like so many things, are for the families, for a point of reflection, decorum. And every once in a while, you got to say, no, we can't do that. And I think the other party allowed the socialists in far too long, and they didn't say no. So ultimately, they won these primaries, and now we're running major cities across the country with disruptive, destructive policies. And the ordinary folks who are getting up in the morning, 5:30 to go to work, they're the ones who are going to get hurt ultimately, and not the ones who want free stuff every single day.
Vito, Fernando Mateo here. How are you?
How are you, my friend?
I am great. And I'm very proud of the Staten Islanders and what you guys do there. You know, you maintain your independence. You know, you draw the line when you need to draw it, and I commend you for that. But I realized that you kept saying that other party, the other side. You never mentioned the Democratic Party, because now there's a takeover of the Democratic Socialist Party, right? Let me ask you, what are you going to do if the Democratic Socialist Party goes to Staten Island and spreads the venom? What are your thoughts? Can they do that?
Fernando, first of all, it's great to hear your voice, my friend. My belief, I really try not to be a partisan guy. I just stand up for what I believe and what we should do for the people of Staten Island. Whether it's better schools, safe streets, safe communities, working and supporting the men and women in the New York City Police Department, supporting our first responders, fundamental things. And that's how I've run my life in the political world. What the Democrat Party does is their concern. It's not mine. My observation is that they're making a big mistake long term. In the short term, there was a primary recently in Staten Island for a Senate incumbent, and the incumbent won handily. I think she got more than 70% of the vote because the people in Staten Island are sane. You know, they have demonstrated common sense, John's favorite phrase, for decades, and we believe in each other. We believe in, again, safe communities. We don't, you know, when defund the police was the catchphrase of the century, we said that's the dumbest thing we've ever heard. So we do, you're right, Fernando, we do retain and maintain our independence against insanity and stand up for common sense. And we will continue to do so and support the hardworking taxpayers who didn't wake up, you know, they didn't wake up on third base and say, I hit a triple. A lot of them suffered.
I like that.
You know, their families came here from all over the world, Italy, Ireland, wherever the case may be. They worked hard. They sacrificed. They worked 2 or 3 jobs for their kids and then their grandchildren, and they own a home, and they have a job, they own a business, and they want what's best for their kids and their families, and we will continue to support those things. If there's another group that comes along from other parts of the country, they come here when they're 25, a lot of them, you know, they've probably never suffered a day in their life, and all of a sudden they say capitalism is terrible, the U.S. is terrible, we need to get out of, defund the Department of War, you know, in other words, abolish the Defense Department. These are insane policies. If implemented, they will wake people up.
It's worse than that, Vito. It's worse than that. Judge Weinberg, what did Esplanad's person that beat Esplanade say yesterday?
Yeah.
She wants to abolish the Pentagon. Just totally get rid of the old Defense Department. Totally abolish it, Vito.
It was just silly stuff.
No, well, it's all nonsense. And by the way, I'll tell you what the big problem. Vito, and you and I go back decades and decades together. The big problem is they have a momentum going on. And the momentum is capturing the young people who do not understand history, they don't understand economics, they don't understand politics, they don't understand social cohesion. So they have an ideology that's driving them, and they're the ones who are coming out to vote. The percentage of voters in this primary was minuscule. And if you look at the demographics that came out, they were the young kids, and they were likely kids who had never been raised here and understood the problems of the bad old days that you and I know when we were at City Hall together about protecting, defending the city, and how easy it is for the tip to go very, very bad. Your thoughts?
No, listen, I am blessed to have a relationship with Judge Weinberg that goes back to the early 90s, and one of the reasons I jumped into politics and public service was to right the ship of a city that was going down the tubes. And you talk to a young person about what it was like in Times Square in 1991, 92, and across the city, they have no clue. And now you look at it, it's vibrant, it's alive. And if you allow it to, again, corrosive policies, to allow criminals on the streets, they're just going to commit more crimes and do a bunch of different things. And I go back with you, Judge, with guys like Peter Vallone, who were sensible, common sense, decent human beings who just wanted what's best for the city, as opposed to what you're saying are younger people primarily coming from across this country and perhaps the world who have never been punched in the face by reality, and they just want this utopia that's never going to exist. We can do what we can. We're going to be imperfect, but you got to work for it. You got to strive for it, and you got to earn it.
We're talking
and
to Vito.
A lot of them don't want it.